Okay, let's go. We're live. And people on my stream, regular watchers, they know I usually go live a little bit early because I have to do the social media madness, as I like to call it, because now they are
Tweeting
so
everywhere.
tweeting, posting, tooting, whatever you want. Like on what social media platform is your regular one now, Nicolas?
It's still Twitter. Fabian is trying to push us on Blue Sky. So I also
Yeah,
have a Blue
yeah,
Sky account.
yeah, yeah.
LinkedIn also, even though I don't like LinkedIn,
Oh,
there is
LinkedIn.
some activity there, apparently.
Mm-hmm. I I'm now more on the blue sky side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks
Yeah,
exactly like Twitter. Like I was surprised.
yeah.
In the old days, like Twitter in the old days.
Yeah.
In the good old
Yeah.
days, yes.
Yeah,
Good
yeah,
old days.
exactly.
Yeah, but like I've got I don't follow anyone there because like I have a social media what's it called? Not restrained, but like I stopped following people because it was
Okay.
having too big an impact on my mental health, basically. But I just use it to share some links here and there, and like people are following me all
That's
over
a
the
good
place.
idea.
Like I think 100 new followers every day, which is small compared to other people, but I like it. It's
So do you use any aggregation tool for
I
social media things?
RSS, yeah, for blogs.
And in the
But
opposite way, to post things, like you post somewhere and it
right.
posts to Blue Sky and Twitter and etc.
Oh no! I just have 4 tabs open and I just copy paste everywhere.
Okay.
There is a nice tool called Typefully.
Typefully.
Actually,
Okay.
yeah.
This is it's one of these things, Roman, that it's not annoying enough to fix right now, and then I postpone it, and then if I wait for a month or something, then it would have made sense to do it anyway. It's I'm kind of a postponing kind of person.
Lazy.
Okay, lazy. Yeah. We'll talk about lazy objects in a minute.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, people are in chat as well. Hello,
Hello.
Yogesh, BDSL. Some people I know, regular viewers here. Undefnil on Twitch. Oh yeah, we're streaming on YouTube and Twitch, by the way. If you're interested. Simon is here. Adrian, good morning. Samuel, people are keep saying hello here. Anastasia, Daryl, Dragets. I can't follow. This is going too quickly. Tarmo, Sergio. Hey, so nice that all of you are being here. We're celebrating PHP 8.4 today. What a nice, great release. I'm so excited for it. I'm here with Roman and Nicolas, two awesome people from the PHP community. We're going to talk about PHP. We're going to just have a great time together. And you in chat as well, if you want to share some thoughts, you can leave them in chat and I'll try to keep track of them. If I miss something, just bump me, say it again. There are a lot of things going on here to manage, but it will be a great time. There is one kind of important thing I have to mention. So my wife, she had something unexpected coming up. She left like for the afternoon. But my daughter, my almost 2-year-old daughter, is asleep. So I hope she stays asleep for the next hour and a half. If that's not the case, then I'll have to improvise.
Of course. We will take over.
Yeah, you'll take over and I'll go get her and then she can join the stream. I promise you she's cuter than elephants. So I don't know how she compares to symphonies. Nicolas, you have one over there? And we were talking about it briefly.
I have a
before the
symphony.
stream.
It's there. That's a prototype. The real one is
It's
coming to Vienna. We have the boxes. We have 1,000 boxes full of pony. So
1,000 boxes or 1,000
no,
ponies?
sorry. Yeah, you're right. I was thinking about that.
Okay.
1,000 ponies in boxes.
It's limited edition.
Limited edition. Yes, exactly. We'll see if people like it, but yeah, I hope so.
I won't be able to make it to SymphonyCon Vienna this year.
Unfortunately.
But Roman is going.
I'll be there, yeah.
And
I'll
Roman,
get one for you.
Buy one for me, please, and bring it back.
Bring it back, yes.
Please. I would love to add the symphony to the herd. And yeah, but really nice. This is a prototype and the other ones are even more cute. but I still think my daughter is. She might actually win the cuteness competition. Let's hope. Don't have
Yeah,
to
I can
find
imagine.
out. I really hope she stays asleep,
Ah,
folks. We'll have
it
to
won't stay
see.
here.
Little
Yeah,
kids.
sure.
Uh, here, Eric knows the feeling. Got a 2-year-old girl too. They are so nice, but yeah. Let's see here before we start into our talk about PHP. If there are any more comments I really need to show right now. Hello, typos and hello Sina over there as well. Also interested in any discussion of how the PHP 8.4 upgrade will affect doctrine, both for people who keep existing ORM versions in an app and upgrade to 8.4.
Yeah, we can chat about that. Yeah.
We can chat about it. I'll try to remember it. Wait, I'll give it a star here. But the first thing I wanted to do today is, ask a very simple question for the people in chat with Roman and Nicolas as well. And I asked around on social media as well. Gonna show some replies there. Like, it's not just the PHP 8.4 release today. It's also like almost the end of the year. We're getting into the holiday vibes, right? And I think it's a nice time to reflect and look back on the past year. So I wanted to start this live stream here with a question for all of you. Like, what's your favorite memory of PHP and the PHP community? Could be anything. Could be like a project, could be something that happened, could be a conference, could be a personal achievement, could be anything PHP related. Let your thoughts know in chat. Roman, maybe I want to start with you. What is your favorite memory looking back on 2024 for PHP?
I mean, for me personally, Laracon EU was one of the greatest highlights. I was given a talk about the PHP Foundation back there, and surprisingly, some things that I mentioned there as the future plans actually turned out like reality, and it's great. I'm super happy on how it turned out. And yeah, I'm looking forward to SymphonyCon. Actually, I really like conferences.
Yeah, you were saying you were mentioning Laracon as the highlight, but that is just because SymphonyCon hasn't happened yet this year.
Yes, exactly.
So I'm sure there will be exactly the same when it comes to excitement. Roman, I forgot to mention this. I didn't really properly introduce you, but you're of course part of the PHP Foundation. You're also my colleague at JetBrains, but you kind of manage the foundation, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, I do manage the PHP Foundation.
Very nice. Cool. Nicolas,
Hey.
let's not forget about your introduction. You are part of the Symphony core team. You're also part of the foundation. You're a very well-known PHP personality. You're an RFC author as well. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Anything I forget there? Things you want to add?
No, that's it. I'm part of the board of the foundation and leading the community by helping contributions and making some also.
Nice. Yeah. Hey, what's your highlight for 2024? Do you have one?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's the thing we're going to talk about later. I think my highlight in a more broad way, except this specific RC we're going to talk about, is how the foundation shaped this new version of PHP. I mean, 8.4 is really, really, really interesting. And I think that's because of the foundation. And thanks to the foundation, that's the first version that received so much attention from people in the foundation. And what I really, really like about this new kind of contributions to internals, it's that the community, the PHP user on side, is much more involved into the improvements of the engine itself. And so that's very, very new to me. I used to be on the edge of the engine, and I'm less on the edge now in terms of contributing ideas and lobbying for ideas from userland. And that's my big highlight for this year, in my opinion.
Very nice. We're like 10 minutes into the stream, and that's the wrong one. Someone is already talking about generics here. We're gonna come back to generics. Hang on a second. I also read here being at conferences. That's one of the highlight for Alexandre. Franken PHP is mentioned here as well. Also pretty cool. Yeah. PHP 8.4. of course. And I have some, let me see here, ads. So I asked around on social media before. Larry here, his highlight is hooks and asymmetric visibility passing.
Yeah,
That's
of
a big
course.
one. That's a big one. We're going to talk about that. Oh, hang on a second. Wrong tab. Yeah, okay. We're fine. Greg here, just 8.4, really nice. Maybe I should zoom in a little bit, I don't know. Getting to work on a new gig with more PHP. I selected this one just because it's so nice to hear that people are still doing new stuff with PHP. It's not just the old, the legacy stuff. PHP is very much alive, and that's very nice. The biggest surprise for me is that after 8.4 there will be no 8. There will be 8.5, not 9.
That's a
Is
good
that
one.
actually is that already decided?
No,
might
it's
have
not
missed it.
decided.
Okay,
No.
yeah. Okay. Richard here. Oh yeah. I kind of added this one.
You cherry picked this one.
Yeah. Tempest. Yeah, that's actually my highlight as well. So for people who don't know, on this channel, we've been live streaming a little bit about building a framework from scratch. We've been doing that for a couple of years. A year and a half now, probably. And it's been really fun, but the highlight for me isn't necessarily the things we've built, but just the community. And it's a small community, right? But like people being really invested into a project and helping out, and it's really nice seeing that come along. So that's my personal highlight as well. Sorry for that. Someone's about to achieve financial independence because of PHP. That's really nice as well. And let's see here, this one, brave person here, getting a legacy server upgraded from 7.3 to 8.1, and then plan to upgrade to 8.4 as well. Brave people, but they're doing it. And that's also pretty nice, knowing that people are still like taking responsibility here and putting in the work and the hours and like the finances to get their legacy stuff up to date. That's really cool. Finally, and also the fact that we were able to update our production app to 8.3, kind of the same thing. So that was highlights for many people, and really nice that everyone pitched in here. Let's check chat for a second. Worst moments, Adrian, we're not going to talk about those in the stream, only good vibes. Yogorin is asking here, is PHP 8 going to be the new PHP 5? I don't think so. I think like the PHP landscape has changed quite a lot. There's the foundation now. I don't think there will be much stagnation. So yeah, cool. Very nice to read all those memories. But folks, let's take a moment to talk about like the reason we're all here, PHP 8.4. It's such a great release. We're so excited. I'm so excited about it. Like I've mentioned this on a couple places before. It is, for me at least, the biggest thing that happened since PHP 7.4. So it kind of worries me that I'll have to wait until 9.4. Like I'm starting to see a pattern here. But honestly, think that the releases in between were fine and were good as well. But I'm really excited about this one. This PHP 8.4 will have such a big impact. And I want to go through the features. I want to talk with Roman and Nicolas a little bit about the things they are excited about and how it will impact like their work. Roman can share a little bit about like this foundation side, of course. So if you're all okay with it, let's dive into what's new in PHP 8.4. Yeah, I'm using my own blog here. I hope no one minds the little bit of self-promotion here.
No,
can,
of course. Sure.
There actually are a little bit more features listed here than on the official PHP website. Or, so anyway, more complete list. Hello, Christoph, by the way. You're here as well. Let's see. First thing, really excited, RFC by Larry, property hooks. This is we're starting out with such a groundbreaking feature, just being able to get rid of so much boilerplate code when it comes to basic getters and setters. Yeah, Roman, Nicolas, how do you feel about this one?
I'm super excited. Actually, I was so excited that I asked Larry to share the story behind it, because it took almost 2 years to deliver it, and there were so many plot twists and work behind the scenes involving the PHP Foundation internal discussions, PHP Foundation advisory board, lots of inspiration from different programming languages. So Larry and Ilya, who worked on this RFC, they studied like other languages, and they took like the best parts of it. And that's what I like about PHP. Maybe sometimes PHP is late with new features, as in they delivered later than in some other languages, but the way they are delivered is actually sometimes the best, because they just learn from what happened before and take the best thing. So I mean, the hooks is just I cannot like be overexcited about it. It's just such a great feature. And it also is super powerful. Like the if you take a look at the RFC, so you took like the gist, right? It's a small example, but if you take a look at the RFC, it's actually huge, and there are so many details, so many things they had to think about while implementing it. I think that's very important. So they delivered in a very thorough implementation, not just like quick patch. So it was thought through.
Still so quick.
Yeah.
Now here we are.
Yeah,
really nice. And also like only 2 people voted against it, so that's also nice to see. It's like very widely accepted, and Larry and Ilya, they put in so much work. It's really nice seeing this come all together. By the way, for people interested, I did a live stream with Larry on this channel as well, talking about property hooks. So if you want to read more about it, you can check it out after this stream. And Nicolas, you have to like stop clicking your pen.
Okay, right. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. Do you have things to add here, Nicolas? I reckon it's.
I was thinking. I think I was thinking about when will I use property hooks.
Yeah.
And I think that Larry in the introduction somewhere explains the reason for property hooks, and the core motivation is to be able to start a class with just properties, and not being blocked in the future when we want to add behavior when getting or setting a property. And I think that's the big thing about property hooks. It's not that we will rewrite the code to use them. It's that we know that we have a forward path to start with properties, just plain properties, and then we are not going to be blocked when we'll want to do more fancy things with a code base. And I think that's the big thing about hooks. They are opening a new avenue, and I think the avenue is also the story is exactly the same as asymmetric visibility. You're going to talk about that, I guess, but it's the same story about using properties first, and making them secure so that you cannot do things you shouldn't. Like for example, the request class of Symfony. It is using properties to give access to the query parameters, to some attributes, and etc. And it's using properties, which means that because this is these days from PHP 5, you can swap the object, the query object. You can swap it. Nobody should do that, but technically you can. And now, thanks to new features, we can secure these objects, saying, okay, there is the request object, then there are sub-objects, and you cannot unbind them from the main object. They were never supposed to, meant to be replaceable. But technically now, Larry is writing the story around properties as first-class tools.
Yeah, I mean, like hooking into that, like the fact that you can define them on interfaces now, that's probably the thing I'm most excited about. I don't think I will have lots of use cases to implement a property hook, but just the fact that they are part of the interface and that you can hook into it if you need to later. It's really, really, really great. Actually, I want to
Yeah.
scroll through new with parentheses because asymmetric visibility kind of hooks into their hooks.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. With like the ability to make some properties only writable from the private scope, but publicly accessible. That combined with property hooks on the interface, that makes like it's gonna be such a big difference for
Oh, yes.
people who want to like keep the certainty that nothing outside of a class can alter its properties, but still read it without having to add so many getters. I like if I can mention Tempest one more time, but this is one of the things we're going to add on all our interfaces. We can only do that because like no one's using it yet, but we're gonna use property hooks and asymmetric visibility instead of getters, and we can throw away so much code. It's gonna be a lot of work, but it's it's really nice. I'm so excited about this one. Nicolas, did you want to add something with asymmetric visibility in specific?
I mean, when read-only properties were introduced in the discussion, I was arguing that this is not what should have been done, because I think read-only is an inferior version of asymmetric visibility. It has more restrictions. It doesn't solve the problem people want to solve, because the object that you can put in a read-only property is still mutable itself. So it's like something that it doesn't fit the promise.
Yeah.
This one is what I wanted, and I think it's going to be very useful.
Yeah.
Do you think read-only flag is now gone with this?
No, I don't think so, because maybe just of the syntax and the promise. People will still want to type read-only because it feels explicit. You're saying something. The bad thing about read-only is that people expect something which is immutable in reality, and read-only isn't about being immutable. So
Right.
unless we have a strong push from the engine saying, hey, this is going to be deprecated, and moving people to something else, people will continue to use read-only. And I'm not suggesting to make this big push, because code that broke today should not be broken without reasons.
That it was my concern with asymmetric visibility, that we now actually have a better way of dealing with these kinds of problems, that read-only would kind of become unnecessary. There are some edge cases still for it, but I was thinking about this last night actually, like how much use cases will I have for read-only, and they are rather minimal. It would be different if there was a clone with syntax, Nicolas. I'm like nudging
something
there.
We can
It would be more useful combined with clone with, but right now, like I'm just gonna go with public private set, basically private set as a shorthand. It's just so much more convenient, and it actually achieves more than what read-only properties can guarantee.
Yes.
So let's talk about this, probably the smallest change, but it's gonna be like I love this change. I don't know how you feel about it.
It is super welcome.
Right? I do this so often, and not necessarily. I used reflection class as an example here. I don't do that specifically all that much, but like I have these builder classes, stuff like that, factories where you chain methods on, and just like being able to not wrap them in braces anymore, like these two brackets here. That's the RFC. This happens so much. I'm so happy that this is that we can now just write this, and it will just work. Do you have many cases for it, Nicolas?
Many, I wouldn't say that, but I have some, and when I type that, I'm always bored by the brackets.
True. Yeah,
same
for me. Yeah, this feels much more natural, like the new approach. So
yes.
Kudos to Valentin, who implemented this small ROC, but he did it really nice. And people actually, when I tweeted about it, when I saw a pull request that he made, and the reaction was quite controversial. So some people were like, "Hey, but this feels ambiguous, like having it without parentheses." But man, so many times I'm just typing new class and then okay, I need to go back and
Yeah.
add those things.
Yes,
Exactly.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, quickly circling back to property hooks, I think Farad is asking a good question here. What about performance with property hooks and asymmetric visibility? The thing is, I talked about this in depth with Larry on the other stream I mentioned. So properties without hooks aren't affected by property hooks. Properties with hooks are a little bit slower compared to normal properties, and properties that are handled with magic getters and setters are slower than hooks. So that's the impact. You'll have to don't just plop get and set hooks everywhere on every property just for the sake of it. I wouldn't do that, but I think it's a very nice middle ground they ended up with. So good. Let's take a look here. The array find, also a small thing, but actually something I also have to do quite a lot. Although I do wonder, folks, the major frameworks, I have some kind of wrapper around arrays. I think, Nicolas, I'm actually not sure about Symfony. Is there
No, Symfony doesn't have anything to deal with collections or things like that.
Okay. Wasn't there a doctrine?
Doctrine
package
collection.
Doctrine collections. Okay, but that's not built into Symfony.
Yeah, that's
okay. But this is a great function just to find the first match of an array. I do think that many people are now used to using wrappers around arrays, but still, it's a nice addition, and I reckon this will be more performant than going through PHP implementations. So I'm happy with this one. Roman, did you have anything you wanted to add there?
No, I think the more we have standard functions, the better. It's just they feel natural. So
yeah,
I'm happy that every release we have a bunch of those added. Just small things that were missing.
Yeah. This is a good one. A deprecation, yes. Where deprecations are good things, folks. Also made a video about that somewhere in the channel. But so you could write this before, a non-nullable type and assign it a null value as a default value, and then the property would be nullable. And now you have to specify that over here with the either union, I guess, or the question mark. This was such a weird thing in PHP. I never understood. There was a reason for it. I forgot it, but
now when you look at it, you were like, yeah, but why it was like that? It just didn't make sense, right?
Mm. The reason is just that we didn't have the interrogation mark at the time, so we needed a way to not break compatibility with older versions of PHP.
Yeah.
And to provide a smooth forward path. So it was very wise. It was really, really wise.
Yeah.
Because it allowed moving forward, it created an upgrade path to make more code compatible.
Do you think then that deprecating it now also makes sense, or is that a wrong move to do, Nicolas?
I'm don't care. What I mean is it's annoying people. It's requiring many libraries to do code changes to get rid of the deprecation. I sent many pull requests to many packages, Symfony ones, but not only Symfony ones, because the continuous integration was telling about that. So I get why it's been done. It's more consistent. Fun fact, in Symfony, because there are two ways to write the same code, we decided to go with a CS fixer that removes the interrogation mark.
Okay.
So the standard in Symfony was to not add the interrogation mark, saying there is a null default. It's plain explicit. Null is accepted.
Yeah.
And it was explicit because it's exactly the same. It's just a syntax issue. And we had to do the change. It was fine. Then the good thing is that it's very easy to automate.
Yeah, true.
So it's easy to upgrade.
Yeah, someone said that in comments. You just run rector.
Yeah, PHP CS fixer. You don't even need rector. You can do more local things. Yeah.
It's something to consider, right? I also read somewhere that this syntax, it kind of communicated that okay, we only accept book here, we only accept an object here, but if you don't provide it, we'll figure something out in the function. Don't worry about it. Of course, you can pass null to it. You could before PHP 8.4, but like someone argument like said that it's a little more clear about the intent of the function, like the intended.
I can agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
From an intent external point of view, yes. From a technical point of view, which is also something that matters, there is no difference between both syntax.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Interesting. Who knows? We might have to deprecate the deprecation notice a couple releases from now if people really don't like it. No, then we can just remove the deprecation, right? There is HTML5 support. Yeah, I've been joking about this a little bit online. Like it took them 10 years, but it's really nice that it's here now. It's really useful for me as well. I don't know if you know this, Nicolas, but I went into the I took on the kind of insane project for fun, mainly to write a view engine from scratch in PHP. And,
okay, I didn't see that.
But I actually parse, like I start with HTML, I parse it as DOM, and then I work from there. So it's like a structured tree that's being it's not like regex parsing, or I don't know how it would work otherwise, but but I was so surprised when I was working on this at first that like the HTML that I thought was valid didn't work with PHP's DOM parser, and then I looked into it, and then I was very happy to read that HTML5 support is coming a little bit late, but okay, we're getting it, so that's nice.
So in Symfony we're using the mastermind HTML5 parser implemented in PHP, so it's good that we can stop having this dependency, and I'm sure the maintainer of this library is also happy to not have to maintain that.
I'm curious now, because I'm also using Mastermind at the moment. Like, do you did you look into performance differences between the built-in DOM extension?
I didn't, but I know the answer. I know the result, right? Not in exact numbers, but something implemented in a C library cannot compete, or PHP cannot compete with that. So it's a win for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Cool. Roman, did you have any thoughts, or shall we scroll through to the JIT?
Someone said like it's funny that we are getting HTML5 support
over here
years after the spec was retired. I'm wondering, I don't know, I don't follow the this W3C specs. So what's the current version? Is it HTML6 or?
Yeah, I'm surprised. What does it mean? It's retired. I mean, maybe what you mean is that it's been retired from the W3C because it's been given back to the working group.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a living standard.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
Version
but it's still HTML5 parser. Like nothing changed really in the way things are standardized.
I think it's fair
just
to say
adding things.
Yeah, like with this new DOM extension, like modern HTML5 or whatever HTML code will be parsable. So it's just HTML. Okay. There probably might be some like of the newest things that won't be supported right away in PHP, but where let's see here. Could you please tell us where to find the doc regarding HTML5? The RFC, you mean? That's over here. You can Google it, or I can.
Yeah, and I think if you go to php.net and you go to the release page, you can find the link to the docs as well.
php.net.
Yeah, and now, on the top there is this, and then if you just scroll to HTML, there is a doc link
over here.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
very related to that, there is. Mate is working on the URI parser, which is coming from the same specification group, and they are specifying how to parse URLs. And this is also, so this is not for 8.4, but I'm very, very also happy about that.
Yeah.
Having more standard support for parsing strings that exist on the internet, URLs specifically. So I've been working these days with security issues in Symfony, and maybe you have seen some CVs recently.
Yeah.
And one of them is related to how parse URL, the PHP function, is so broken, and how it differs from what browsers do with URLs.
Yeah.
And when you get into the detail of parse URLs, it's like, oh, it's just, it shouldn't be used. That's my conclusion. And so this is another one that is going to be very useful.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Really nice. Moving on to the JIT changes now. There are some config changes, but there's also new implementation to the JIT, which might have some performance improvements in some cases, but I wasn't I played around with it a little bit. I didn't really see much difference, so I don't know. I don't have much to say here. Roman, maybe you have like more insight information there.
So JIT now is like a separate repository, and the implementation is done like from scratch in this release. As for performance improvements, I think you still don't see much in typical web applications. Maybe in some like CPU heavy CLI scripts, you could probably feel it, but so far not for the web applications.
Okay, so that's the JIT. Let's scroll here. Let's skip lazy objects. A bit boring. No. Lazy objects. Nicolas, do you want to share some insights on this one? Because this is your RFC, right?
Yeah, this is an RFC I've been working on since I started 2 years ago working on the topic. Not exactly as an RFC at the beginning, but now it's in the engine. So, the topic, it's about having an object that starts completely empty without any state, except a callable and initializer that is attached to it and that is called by the engine when anything is accessed in this object. So this makes the object lazy because the object can be used without being populated at the beginning.
Yeah.
And this can be done already since more than 15 years because there is the proxy manager library from Ocramius that was the one on the topic. And it's been super useful. But if you look at the code, it's not because of the author of the code, it's because of the PHP engine. The code is just awful because of magic methods, complex logic, etc., to emulate emulate lazy behavior.
Yeah.
And so it has also been proved very painful to maintain in userland. I mean, there have been dramas around this because of policies around the code. So all of this is past now. We can live happy together again. Because the engine is taking care of everything related to lazy objects.
Yeah, and the super cool thing is that it's not clear from this example. Actually, let me check the RC. But like the object that you get here is actually of the really the type of the class. So
of course,
although it's not real class yet, right?
It's not a real class yet, but no one knows that. So from the outside, it doesn't really matter. But you can build really cool things with this.
So it's a purely behavioral thing, which means it doesn't show up in the type system.
Right.
So that's what you mean. Yeah.
It's really cool. I reckon it's a feature that will be mostly used by lower level code like frameworks and packages, ORMs, stuff like that. But it's really nice. Such a nice feature. Although if I can add one request, Nicolas,
let me know.
If possible. So now whenever you make a lazy proxy, and whenever you try to do to access a property, I think of it, or do anything with it, then like the initializer triggers. What would be cool, or I should, it would be useful for my use case.
Okay.
If I could do this with properties, individual properties as well, so that you have a class and 1 or 2 or 3 of its properties as marked are lazy properties, and as soon as you access that one property, then the initializer for that single property triggers.
So first thing is maybe hooks are more suited for that.
Yeah.
Of course, it means then the class you write needs to be aware of this concept, which is what lazy objects provide, a way to make an object lazy without the author having to know about anything about laziness. That's one thing. And the other thing is, I've tried, and then you end up in some very difficult to solve situations.
Okay.
Because how do you deal with one property being initialized before the other? So it leads to complex states where you have to reconcile partial things. So I've tried, and I've decided it was too difficult to solve.
Okay.
So what I mean is that maybe it's possible. It was not possible for one single RFC because it would have been a headache for a community to absorb. So if someone is brave enough to jump into the difficulties and explain them and solve them, why not?
Okay. It's a good answer. Here, small thing, die and exit as functions means that you can like use them in a little bit more places where it makes sense. I'm not gonna go too deeply into that. The deprecated attribute, Roman, maybe you want to share something about that, because this was like you're really excited about this one, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, I actually, the idea is quite old. I mean, the RFC, I think, appeared quite a few years ago. I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, and then it was just resurrected and re-implemented for PHP 8.4. And back then I was really excited because we had the same attribute in PHP Storm. And so what I really liked about it in PHP Storm version is that we had a way to specify replacement. So for example, you can mark some function as deprecated, but also help user to migrate quickly. And so we had a conversation with Benjamin, the author of this RFC, whether this core attribute has to have this replacement. And we kind of agree that it's better to have the deprecated attribute just as a marker for deprecation, and then for replacement we could have another attribute. Should we want it like replacement attribute? It's not implemented yet in PHP Storm, but I guess it will be. So I really like that. You can just help users to alert them earlier about some changes. Although I can also like the reason I have mixed feelings is because this deprecation notice, many times people get annoyed by them. So this engine attribute could be abused in a way if you have too much of those. But I think it's a good attribute. How do you feel about it, Nicolas?
Mixed. I'm mixed on this one. I'm happy about it, but at first I wasn't. And I tried to explain on the internal mailing list why, but I think we have a solution. Let me tell you what is missing, is in my opinion, and how to fix it. What is missing is that here the engine will generate a deprecation saying, hey, this old function is deprecated, use new function instead, soon version 1.1. And when you see that in a stream of deprecation, it's very difficult to map that to an actual package, to know which package is requiring you to do that.
That's a good point.
And it's difficult for readers, but it's also difficult for tools that could be deprecation aggregators or things like that. You could have a static analyzer or tool, a runtime tool maybe, that could generate a report at the end saying, hey, you're using Doctrine ORM. This feature is deprecated from Doctrine ORM. So if you want to move from 3 to 4, you are going to need to fix that before. What the sentence I said is what we want as an experience, but this attribute doesn't help with that, because it requires something to know how to map back from a symbol to a package, which is not obvious. It's never obvious. So that's why I've been arguing on the list that we were missing an attribute on the deprecated attribute, which is next to since. It could have been package, for example. But PHP doesn't have a concept of package. Composer has one. So that's the problem, or one of the most important problem I have with that. And the solution, I can give it to you. But the solution is not to do what is in the example. It is to put the package in the since. So you would say this is deprecated since Tempest 1.1. And then this becomes useful.
Yeah. Well, since it's also just a string, right? So you can put in...
Exactly. You can put anything, not just a version number. And so I'm going to take my advocate hat, evangelist hat, because the whole community need to get the message. A number is not enough here. So please fix all examples that you can everywhere. Please update your blog post.
I'm doing it right now.
Because we need the package before the version number. And then this is actionable.
Yeah, keep talking, Nicolas, so I can update it.
So Alexander, on the chat, you're asking, so writing since symfony/log colon 1.1, would it fail? No, it would just work. This is just a string. We do what we want. The engine doesn't do anything with that since. So we can do that. Then we can think about, is this structured enough or not? Like if we had a package next to the since, then it would be super easy to extract the package because there would be just a property for that. So now we have to pass the since to split version and package by a colon, by a space. And of course, there will be differences exactly. So it could be a space, could be a colon. I mean, this is easy to implement and to say, oh, this is one of them. I don't care which one is used.
Okay.
And this makes sense now.
Yeah. It's a really like a real programmer solution, but it works, and I don't think anyone will mind. But I think it's a really it's a really important problem actually that you highlighted.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
it is one for me at least.
Yeah. I'm setting like the practice here, the good practice. Everyone follow this. Also require Tempest framework if you want. No. Let's see here. Any other important comments? No. Okay.
There's one more bigger change before we go to smaller editions, if I may.
Yeah. Go ahead.
So there is something that is not missing, that is not mentioned on your blog post, and it was missing from the release page. Actually, I noticed it just a couple hours before. It's a BCMath object API. So if you go to php.net and the release page, I think it's opened already. The last tab. Yeah. So, and scroll a little bit. Yeah, this one. So in PHP, there was two extensions to work with big numbers. It's GMP, which is for integers, and it supported object style and operator overloading. And BCMath is an extension to work with float integers of arbitrary precision. I mean, float numbers of arbitrary precision. And it only had this old style functions to work with. So now it actually has real class to work with, and this supports operator overloading. So you should, if you need like anything to work with like real numbers, for example, money, you should just use this because it's super fast. It supports all the operators you need, and it also implements stringable interface. So you just if you print it out or you send it to database, it will be just a string, and it doesn't have these float problems of like losing precision, if you know what I mean. So this is I think this is a really, really nice like practical addition to the language. I'm super happy about this one.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for mentioning that. I can't believe I missed that. So
No,
now,
it was easy to miss it because it was really like it was not even on this page.
yeah, I
Yeah.
remember I went through the upgrading list and I saw something at BCMath, but I got the impression from like the upgrade note that it was just a very minor change. But this is pretty big. So thanks for mentioning that, Roman. Cool. This is SR or I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's saying this is my new preferred like favorite feature, I guess, of 8.4. Very nice, very nice. Hey, I didn't really intend to go through the smaller things.
Before you go, then
yeah.
if you don't want to go,
Yeah,
I was
go
reading
ahead.
the chat and about Doctrine ORM and lazy proxy, and at the beginning
Yeah.
of the stream also we talked about the ORM exactly. Yeah.
This one.
So I think it's because lazy objects, they are going to impact Doctrine a lot because
Yeah.
they are one of the main consumer for lazy objects. And
Yeah.
I know I've been doing the change in the ORM to make it work with the lazy object RFC. It works, of course. I designed the RFC also to achieve that. And I know that the Doctrine team, the core team, is also planning to adopt lazy object as soon as possible. So they already are working on that. And the good news is that you mentioned partial properties before, partial objects.
Yeah.
At the beginning, I mean, few weeks ago, they were deprecated in the ORM because partial objects were difficult to have.
Yeah.
And thanks to the new infrastructure of the lazy object RFC, they are now way more confident that they are going to be able to maintain support for partial objects.
Okay, cool.
So they undeprecated that, and the code is going to be simpler also on their side. So it's a big win for
Nice.
Doctrine.
Yeah.
Now, for the time being, I mean, until Doctrine is going to bump the minimum version to 8.4, which I hope is not going to be tomorrow, because then it would mean that the community will be not able to upgrade immediately. But when they will, so until this happens, they will continue to use the var exporter component, which works well as now I would say a polyfill.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, pretty cool. Thanks for reminding me about that as well, Nicolas. So nice. I mean, we looked at the highlights of PHP 8.4. I think like everyone agrees this is a pretty like you might not like all features, but this is a pretty big release for PHP. There are so many like groundbreaking things, and wow. Really wow. I'm really excited about it. So thanks for pitching in there, folks. We're not done yet. Hang on. We're not done yet. But that was the PHP 8.4 part that I wanted to discuss with you. Although I had one more question, and also for people in chat, what is your favorite 8.4 feature? You can only pick one. What is it, Nicolas? I put you on the spot.
Which one is my favorite?
Yeah, your absolute favorite number one feature of 8.4. If you had to pick one.
I'm guessed,
yeah.
Right? Lazy objects.
Yeah. Fair enough. Roman, how about you?
New without parentheses.
Right. Okay.
Good one.
Charlie in chat here. I love the BCMath class. Simon, Avis, which is short or cool language for asymmetric visibility. Property hooks, someone else is saying. Asymmetric visibility over here. Yeah. For me, I think I would also say new without brackets, although asymmetric visibility comes close. BCMath number as well here. Very nice. Hooks. Yeah, okay. These are like the features I expected people to say. Oh, this is something we didn't really talk about. I love the increment in performance. Is there actually a performance like gain or decrease in PHP 8.4? Do any of you know?
There should be some improvement.
Right.
So, for example, there is frameless calls, right? It's only in 8.4.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk about that because it's just a behavioral thing.
Yeah.
But now internal functions can be called without adding a frame to the stack trace. And so it means it's just going to be faster for the function that support that. So I've seen a post from Benjamin today that is talking about performance.
I saw that too. Yeah, that was a really nice post, and I need to link it in my blog post as well. Benjamin,
yeah.
Actually,
it's useful.
Let me search it. It's such a great approach to learning things about PHP 8.4 that other like things that might like be forgotten about. Let's see here. This one. Hang on, share my screen. Let's go. So this post by Benjamin, he talks about like performance and like a lot of nitty gritty stuff, but it's really interesting. So let me actually share it in chat as well.
There were like a few other bits, and I think Benjamin also wrote about them. For example, optimization for sprintf calls. So if you have a sprintf function, this one, and you have this only %s symbols. So it internally just optimizes it to be just a string concatenation, which is much faster. So I don't think it will like drastically make your application faster, but it's just a small bit that adds here and there. So it's really nice to have all of those optimizations.
Yeah, definitely. By the way, I have some bad news, folks. The people who were hoping my daughter would wake up, my wife just came back home, and so there's now absolutely no chance that she'll appear on stream. So unfortunately, we'll have to do with the cuteness of elephants or symphonies. That's also possible. By the way, is SymphonyCon? Are there still like spots open, or is it full? Like for attending the conference?
For attending the conference, no. But the venue is very big, so we can have many more.
Okay.
Yeah, people. So if you want to come, just come. I would be happy to meet so many nice people.
Buy a ticket, of course. Don't just come.
Yeah, you need to buy a ticket, of course, before. But yes, it's not so loud. It's not going to be. That's impossible. The place is huge, and we can even push the walls if we want. So
nice, push the walls. Nobody can no longer make arguments about using string concat over sprintf. Absolutely right. Yeah. Really cool.
Which
really
is
cool
good
feature. What I wanted to do in the last part of the stream, I was like, I'm back in my my holiday season vibe, right? And I was just thinking about PHP, and it's such a great place. And I asked around on the social media madness places as well, like what is something weird, something cool that you've seen written with PHP, and so many people pitched in, and I wanted to share some of these things and maybe like hear your opinion about it as well.
Sure.
It's so nice to see how many people are doing things with PHP. The first one, folks, like don't panic. It's generics, but probably the news that they aren't coming. But I wanted to highlight this, like really great blog post here by the foundation a couple months ago, written by Arnaud and Derek and Larry. They really looked into it, like all possible options with generics. It highlights like how the foundation, they're not just like doing maintenance work. They're not just doing RFCs that actually make it, but also looking into like putting a lot of work into researching these kinds of topics, and like maybe conclude that it's not all that feasible to add generics in PHP, unless, of course, and I've been talking about this for years, just fully erase type declarations. I'm just gonna say it once again. This is what we need. Roman, take a note, please. Take it to the foundation.
Yes, I agree.
Yes. Just don't do anything with the types at runtime. But yeah, this is one of the things that came across my my timeline when I was browsing the web for PHP related content, and something that stood out. And I really appreciate, Roman, I want to say that to you, but also to the people who worked on this. Like, you put in the work to figure it out, and it's a really nice write-up. And like the conclusion is that except for fully erased type declarations, can I say it like that, Roman? Like, probably runtime generics not gonna happen. Is that maybe cutting too many corners?
Well, yeah, I guess So I think that's the stance is the following, or I mean, the current situation is following. We stopped, or Arno stopped working on the implementing this runtime check generics.
The ray feature.
Is because it just goes too complicated.
Yeah.
And we're still, as a foundation and the team, we're not sure how to proceed further. It could be continuing research and trying to make it happen, but maybe it's not what we want. Maybe actually fully erased type is a better choice, but it's open question so far.
Let me share you just maybe an unlocker. I didn't share it before, so that's why maybe you're not the right person, but we have an audience.
Go ahead.
What would be useful, it's going to be very technical, what I'm going to suggest. It would be very useful for the engine and for generics and for the type system to deprecate, put your seatbelt, getting a PHP reference to an object property. If we deprecate being able to reference using a PHP reference the property of an object, then it means we remove at some point in the future the possibility to have typed references. You know, variables that can only hold one kind of type because of property types.
Yeah.
And I know, after having talked with Arno on the topic, that this is one major pain point on the even for arrays. This is a big difficulty.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been thinking about my usage of reference and properties, and I can replace all of them with something else. Right. I use them at the moment, but I can replace them with something else if I'm told to do so. And I think that would help some cases that cannot be done today and that are explained in the document.
Okay. Yes. Very interesting idea. Although, on the other hand, Nicolas, I would still say we just need erased types and be done with it.
I agree with that. I also agree with that.
Okay, the next thing, actually, I need to mention, this is news about Laravel. Nicolas, you're from the Symfony side. I also invited Freek to join us again to represent some part of the Laravel side, but Freek is sick. So, but that doesn't mean that we don't want to celebrate some parts of Laravel as well, because they had some pretty big news this year. The big Excel investment, and they're doing like really interesting stuff with that. I think it goes to show that PHP is definitely not dead if like these kinds of investments are being made in a PHP framework and its ecosystem. So indeed. I just wanted to highlight that as well. Yeah. I don't know if anyone wants to pitch in there or that we continue to other weird things.
I can add like one small thing. So this event, it's great by itself, and it means the community, the PHP community is striving, and you can build super cool things with PHP, not necessarily Laravel, just any framework or vanilla PHP, whatever. Just you can do cool stuff. You can do businesses. Yeah. And but for PHP, what this event, this news triggered is change in PHP.NET website in two ways. One way is to add some marketing pages, and we're working on that right now, to add the why use PHP page, and then we'll see, maybe we'll add more. But also another thing is add mentioning of just ecosystem stuff, because before that, if you can think about it, like for almost 30 years, PHP.NET mentioned nothing from the ecosystem, not even Composer. Yeah. And currently, the voting is going, and I think it's already I think it finishes tomorrow on the RFC about mentioning third-party tools on PHP.NET. So it's happening, and I'm super happy that this event triggered that discussions.
Yeah, let's actually check the vote. Hang on.
You can look for third
policy and third-party code, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's gonna pass. Okay.
Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Very nice. That's actually that. I mean, it like the docs and the public like face of a programming language is super important, and it's really nice that the foundation and Laravel and many others, but they are also aware of this and are investing. So really nice. Mathieu Napoli sent me this one.
Oh yeah.
We're not gonna do it on stream, but like try to do this one. I'll post it in chat. There is there are some interesting challenges here.
Yeah, that's a really cool quiz.
I hadn't heard of it, but this is old, right? But
Yeah, it is.
So yeah, play around with it. I was really not all that good at it. This one, Nicolas, have you seen this one? Because this was built for Symfony.
Yeah, I've seen this one. Yeah. From David, yes. It was so nice. It's nice. Yeah, it's really fun.
I have it here. Like, but it needs. Hang on. Yeah, it does some kind of weird things here. But once it's loaded, like, and this is.
Oh, cool.
Snake with PHP. Yeah. But there are some weird styling bugs, but it probably has to do with. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you made it.
I mean, hey, that was clutch. I mean. Okay.
Fun.
So people are
This
building
is
cool
fun.
things. You can play Snake. This one was sent by my boss actually. Like, he's a bit of an older PHP person, but like good reminder that things like loading Excel files and stuff is just built into PHP. Someone built a JSON parser. They sent me.
Oh, this is a good one actually.
Yeah, tell me about it.
So it's a string parser. So basically, you can load like really huge JSON documents, like megabytes size, and without like loading it fully into memory. So it could be like hundreds megabytes or gigabytes of size JSON, and it will work efficiently in like streamingly. So it's pretty cool.
Very nice. Like, speaking of games, by the way, we played some Counter-Strike in PHP on stream. That was pretty cool. If it wants to load, of course. That's something we did. Yeah, this is all written in PHP. Like,
oh wow,
crazy, right? Like, yeah. Well, all is maybe a lot, but like the server side of there is still some rendering done in JavaScript, but that was really nice.
of course.
Native PHP was oh sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, but there is also actually I used to work at a game dev company about in 2012, and it was a huge French game dev company, and all the backend in that company was built with PHP. So it's not a surprise that you can build a backend for games.
To be honest, it was rather laggy, but I don't know if that was because of PHP or well, I just put it on like the most cheap digital ocean droplets, and there was no like proper optimization done. So maybe the JIT would have helped there actually. So native PHP was mentioned as well, where you build like it's a wrapper for Electron basically. Kind of a little bit of a weird name because it's not really native PHP. It's a wrapper for Electron, but it's pretty cool, and people are building pretty cool things with that as well. This one was fun. Have you seen this one? This is like a PHP unit.
Oh yeah.
In a form of a defragmentation. That was fun. And oh, this is nice. Actually, I wanted to talk about this. So YAMLDB, like use a YAML file as a database basically.
Wow.
Yeah, you say wow, but is it all that weird to have like an object-oriented API on top of YAML or JSON to like quickly query your YAML and JSON files? Is that such a weird idea? I don't know. Like for my blog, let me see. Oh, I closed it. But for my blog, everything is YAML, which I regret now. But but like having some, I think that there might be use cases. Although
if there is a good layer of caching on top, and if writes are not intensive, it makes it very easy to commit the database. And track changes.
But on the other hand, like we have SQLite as well, of course. So,
that's a good notice. Don't use this, please.
Let's see here. What else came across? I felt for this person. I still maintain a Windows app maintained with PHP GTK PHP 5.2. I mean, imagine that. Yeah, that's. I feel for you. And then someone wrote a printer driver using The PHP, I don't even know what this is.
The
D-I-O.
direct IO, I guess.
Yeah.
Cool.
Wasn't it Andrew? What's his last name? I don't remember.
Gutman? I don't see it's Andy. No.
It's with Shame. I'm sorry, I forgot his last name. He built he built this printer. Like when some issue is created, it prints. GitHub issue is created, it prints the ticket or something.
True.
I think it's that guy, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Andrew Schmelin.
Yes, Schmelin. Yeah.
It will be too difficult to find that now, but that's a good example.
Yeah, but he did like pretty fun stuff, and he was even featured in some news like on TV.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, pretty nice. Ben sent me this one, Ben Ramsey. He wrote Notepad in PHP. That's also possible.
Oh,
and,
nice.
The possibilities are endless. People, it's just your imagination that's the limiting factor here. And then the final one. This is like not a joke or anything, but this is really great. This was like announced 2 days ago, Roman. The pre-release, that's a mouthful, but the pre-release of the PHP of Pi, basically. James went. I also sat down with James on this channel to talk about it. But this is like the new Packle, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
No, this is huge. This is not just Packle, but it's like a whole new way of like working with extensions. So extensions are now listed on packages. They have Composer JSON file, and you can install
them.
Already
listed today.
Yeah. So if you go actually on that, you have a link. No, not com, but the org.
.org. Yeah.
Is there here I think. Yeah. So these are the extensions that are already compatible with Pi. So I think these are the most used extensions. So the idea is
being the most popular one. That makes sense.
Yeah. So the numbers are humble right now, but it's just because the tool is just released. It's re-released.
Yeah. Let me diss myself, but some numbers are even better than Tempest at the moment. So I don't know about that. Hey, really nice. Such a great achievement. I remember sitting down with James and talking about this a couple of months ago, and it was still such a work in progress, and he was just starting out with it, and now like the pre-release is here. So great. And there is also a lot of room for like future improvements, right? One of the biggest features that people keep asking about is being able to list extensions in your Composer file and then download them automatically, stuff like that. And I remember when I talked to James that that's definitely one of the things they can look into. It's not part of it right now, but really nice. Well, congratulations, Roman, again. Not like to James, of course, as well. But a nice achievement by the foundation, and it's really great that we're making advancements here. So cool. Well, folks, that was all the weird PHP stuff I wanted to show today. We looked at PHP 8.04, which definitely isn't weird. It's great. It's one of the greatest releases of the past years, at least in my opinion. Yeah, I'll have so much upgrade work to do now. That is one thing. But it's gonna be great. So we're gonna wrap up the stream. It's really great also seeing so many people in chat here. I know we didn't cover all the comments. I'm sorry for that. There was a lot going on, but I appreciate you being here. And Roman and Nicolas, I want to thank you for spending the last hour and a half basically here with me to celebrate PHP 8.4. Really nice.
It was a pleasure.
So,
thank you.
We say goodbye for now. And I think the next big milestone that's coming up is probably tomorrow, right? The foundation.
3 years, tomorrow
3 years.
Foundation turns 3 years.
Okay, maybe we should have scheduled a stream for that as well. But actually, I'm not available tomorrow. So, but after that, there's the 30th anniversary of PHP, right? Next year.
It's coming next year, yeah.
Yeah. So cool.
And Symfony also 20.
Wow.
Next year.
Wow, it's nice how that's synchronized, actually. PHP was 10 when Symfony started. Okay,
Yeah.
we need to remember that. Very nice. So, people mark your calendar or just subscribe and leave a like if you want to stay up to date. And then we'll see each other in the next one. So, with all of that being said, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See you next one.